Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in August 2021 has announced the National Monetization Pipeline, which is expected to fetch around 6 lakh crore to the government. So what is the National Monetization Pipeline? It basically names a list of public assets that will be leased to private investors. Only brownfield assets are planned to be leased out under the NMP. Brownfield assets are the ones that are already operational. So to give an example, an airport that is already open and working may be leased out to an investor. Assets that are yet to be developed, such as an undeveloped piece of land, may not be leased out. Another point to note here is that there won't be any transfer of ownership from the government to the private sector when assets are leased out. The government only plans to give control over its assets for a certain period of time, after which the assets will be returned to the government. So why are they doing this? What are the benefits? The government believes that leasing out public assets to private investors will help free money that is stuck in these assets. I will give you an example. Suppose the government has invested 2000 crore in building an airport. It may take the government 10 or 20 years to recover its investment through airport operation. Instead, the government can recover a good part of its investment by leasing out the right to manage the airport for the next 20 years to a private investor. So the government will receive the money they have spent and can then use it to build other infrastructures like a school for specially abled children or a park in your neighborhood. Remember that a school built today is 100 times better than a school built 20 years later. Government is also talking about the National Infrastructure Pipeline, NIP. Basically, the government can use the money received from the National Monetization Pipeline to build fresh infrastructure under the National Infrastructure Pipeline. So the government believes leasing out its assets to private investors will help it build fresh infrastructure. Now let's talk about the risk. I will talk more about it in a separate video, but I guess these will give you a rough idea. Many in the opposition allege that the NMP will favor a few business corporations that are close to the government. There can be some political influence during the allocation of the public projects, which can lead to corruption. The best thing to do against this is to make all the processes as open as possible and make sure there is no political influence at any level. The second issue to note is that the expected boost to economic activity due to higher government spending may also need to be weighed against the opportunity cost. Basically, you have to look at the things you are giving up. The money that the government collects by leasing out assets comes from the pockets of the private sector. So higher government spending will come out at the cost of lower private spending. The next concern is that the leasing of airports, railways, roads, and other public utilities to private investors could lead to higher prices for consumers. The private investors will naturally have a single goal, and that will be to get the maximum profits. If the government merely seeks control of public utilities, then it can lead to poor outcomes for consumers. I hope you got an idea of National Monetization Pipeline or asset monetization. The success of the NMP will depend on the demand for brownfield assets, the pricing of assets, and the terms of sales and so on. I am a teacher and a content creator. Do subscribe to this channel and support my works. You will receive videos on important changes happening in India and around the world. All the videos will be short, containing every detail you need to know. Stay safe and see you again.